Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies, ladies and gents, we've got the Braves, and they're in our background, and they're gonna be singing about Bohemians and their Rhapsody. And mamas, okay, they're gonna be talking about mamas.
Just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Mama,
Ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna be playing in my background, but because it's on the computer, I'm gonna keep it right there. It's gonna be playing throughout the entire video. So for those of y'all who don't appreciate Bohemian Rhapsody, originally done by and Mr. Mercury, I'm sorry, because that sounds like that's a personal problem, and you really ought to get that looked at. That could grow and fester and become something that you won't be able to handle permanently. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I was talking with someone this morning, and I appreciate the fact that my God allows me to be me, that He allows me to be a genius. Yeah. I have my quirks, I have my problems, I have my issues. Don't worry about it. Those are mine. You say, my. Okay, Johnny Gill. Those are my problems. However, still doesn't take away from the fact of the genius. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you all that Satcom is getting ready to start helping people with mortgages. That's going to be its main focus. There'll be no more Sat Packs. Sat Packs are done as of October, 31st. We are now revealing exactly every aspect of the Sat Pack so that everybody knows exactly what we were doing. And if other people want to do the same thing now, knock yourselves out. But the problem is Sat Packs were first. And so we secure the value of each Sat Pack. That's why the Sat Pack 1, Sat Pack 2s, the Prime, the Omega, the Plus, each one of those are their own Sat Packs. There'll never be another one like it. Never be another process like it. That is called Sat Packs, ladies and gentlemen. That's the value. But that's not the only value. Oh God, that's not the only value. However, those of you who are Sat Packers, some of you will be getting a postcard asking you to update your account information. It's going to have an email address for you to send that to. Do not contact support. If you get the postcard, it will have an email address on the postcard. At that time, contact the postcard and it will be immediately sent to you. The rest of you whom we already know your addresses, we're certain of those addresses, you won't be receiving no postcard. You'll be receiving the item. Whew, so glad I got all that out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Sat Pack update. Now let's get back to that mortgage thing. The Satcom, from this point forward, will be handling mortgages. And it's just really that simple. We will specialize in individuals who are pre-foreclosure. Pay attention, pre-foreclosure. And individuals who have just received their foreclosure notice within the last 2 weeks of them contacting our organization. Okay, we will explain the whole process, and the way we're doing things, you shouldn't have to make another payment after that. You will have to do a loan remodification, but you should not have to make another payment after that. We will be giving you guys updates on that information shortly. You know what? I didn't have it on repeat, because like dominoes, got to repeat. And that's this particular, I'm going to get myself another program, because I shouldn't have to, no, repeat one. What you mean repeat all? Man, that if I repeated all, oh Lord, Lord have mercy. So properties, and you see the properties doesn't give me, it only gives me the properties for that one song. So I don't like this. So let's go home. Take me home to the valley. Okay. I want to go home So let's try this again. Nope, same thing. So, I just turned it off. I didn't mean to turn it off. Hold on, got to do my Bohemian Rhapsody, the braids. Now I got to do that all over again. See, this came with the unit. So what I'm gonna have to do is get another software that's gonna let me do what I need to do without having to go through all this. And I don't need your recommendations. I really don't need your recommendations. As you see, I already have VLC player. I'm all right, but we're getting ready to play the audio of a conversation that I had with someone. And so, getting back to all of you, that is a little bit. I think the volume. Oh no, it didn't. I'm gonna bring it to 2 because in my ear I can hear it. But again, that's Bohemian Rhapsody. They're gonna be playing the whole video all the way through. Ladies and gentlemen, I did 2 videos yesterday. That is for the benefit of all of you. That is to let you know the process from the Federal Reserve. That's from the Federal Reserve's own website. All you got to do is study it. Literally study it, and you can help so many people with their mortgages. However, I want you to understand that's not what SATCOM is going to be doing. We are going to be doing something completely different. There will be a power of attorney. You will not get to see all the paperwork that we're putting in. Sorry. Like we've told you guys, and we'll continue to say, too many people are not doing any research at all, trying to copy what we're doing, and then trying to duplicate it and messing it up for everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not that you are not entitled to information. It's just that some of you are too lazy to do the research. And everybody who's ever told me that they are willing to do the research has never done it. I mean, no, hold on. Let me say it again because you didn't hear me. Everybody who has ever told me, every single person who has ever told me they're willing to do the research has never done it. I had one person, I told him, I said, hey, y'all want to work for SATCOM? Well, y'all live in a different time zone, different country, but we might be able to work something out. I said, however, I'm going to give you a task, and I need you to research this and get back with me on this information specifically. Almost 2 months ago, they're just now emailing me. What was it, yesterday? I'm not pleased with that. You see, doing things when you have time is not the way SATCOM has ever worked. SATCOM is here for the client. SATCOM is not here for the person. SATCOM is here for the client. SATCOM is not here for the organization. SATCOM is here for you. Okay? Now, to prove it to you, from time to time, this is what I do, ladies and gentlemen. I will, at random, pick a person. Get out of here. Nobody want to see that. I'll pick a person at random. And I'll just select them. They won't even know I selected them, and I'll just call them out of the blue. Man, they could be at work. They could be sitting up there on the, on the stool pit, like the pulpit, the stool pit. And ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter because it's not a obligatory call. It is a courtesy call where I'm giving the individual an opportunity at asking questions and giving them information they otherwise would not have known. Ladies and gentlemen, I called 6 people one day. They didn't know I called 6 people. I just called 6 people. And when I called those 6 people, let me tell you something. Do you know that not one of them answered their phone? It all went to voicemail. Now, I'm okay with that. People are busy. Not everybody can be at my beck and call. Because I didn't talk to Beck, and man, I didn't talk to Call, and neither one of them were available. Okay? So, however, that call doesn't happen often. But when it does happen, I get to talking. And I get to explaining things. And then I answer questions. I do it often. And so, this individual whom I spoke to, he was the one who gave some advice on the dogs. I don't need your advice on the dogs. His advice was given out of the blue. He wasn't trying to give me advice on what to do and how to do. He was just giving me advice as far as a caution, what to look out for. And he was correct, but not so much a problem in this area. Sorry, I had to cough. So, when I called him, I asked him was he busy? He said, "Yes, I'm busy." What the you calling me during a week like this for? During this hour? These are business hours, you ignorant mother. That's what he said to me, and I said, "All right, don't worry about it. You know, I was just calling to give you some information, but since you're busy, I'm gonna keep it to myself." "Oh no, man, I'm just kidding. You know how things are." No, he didn't do all of that, ladies and gentlemen. He said that he was busy, but he had a couple of minutes, and so we took a couple of minutes. I want to share that couple of minutes with you guys. Okay, you will be able to hear it because I've already listened to the audio. This was done several days ago, but I've already listened to the audio. Now I just want to let you guys know that I'm gonna put myself on mute while the call is playing. I'm not gonna chime in probably until the end. I apologize for that. This lets you know that the software is listening. Okay, because look at all the talking I did prior to this. Okay, this lets you know that these softwares, your phone, everything is listening to you. So let's have this conversation, okay? We're gonna turn this up to there. Let's do this. The call is because I may put it up on video, so there won't be any personal information being discussed. What's been happening is, and I've been having, what were you going to say?
Oh, no.
Okay. What I've been dealing with is quite a few people wanting to tell me whether I'm right about this or right about that. And they don't understand. How could I be right or wrong? I'm just reading the stupid statute.
Exactly.
So if it don't say what I'm saying it says, then that means that the statute has been miswritten from the version I'm looking at, because I'm just reading it word for word. And if I'm reading it word for word, because the law interpretation procedure, because there is this thing called statutory interpretation, can only be done one way. It ain't done the way Mama said it's supposed to be done. It's the way the procedures, the principles, and it's called statutory interpretation. So there are, I think it's 9 general principles of statutory interpretation. And because it's 9 principles of statutory interpretation, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. It can only be interpreted one way. It ain't like these intelligent people who claim they can interpret the Bible. So, statutory interpretation is like this. This is the way you're to understand this stupid statute, because it is simple. On March 3rd, 1933, President Roosevelt became the inaugurated and now President of the United States. He took office on March 3rd. When he took office on March 3rd, President Roosevelt, the very first thing he did, sorry, as I said, I'm working underneath, and this thing doesn't seem to be even. So, working and talking at the same time doesn't look like it's gonna be my forte. Anyway, when President Roosevelt did Presidential Proclamation 2039, he had already done Presidential Proclamation 2038. He did Presidential Proclamation 2038 the day he took office on March 3rd, 1933. When he took office on March 3rd, 1933, he ordered Congress to meet together in a joint session. He had the authority to do it, and so he told them, y'all gonna meet and y'all gonna discuss this. 3 days later, on March 6th, he provides Presidential Proclamation 2039, which is an exact copy of the letter given to him by Mr. Hoover, the president before him.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, when Mr. Hoover left the letter, he took the letter from Hoover and created a proclamation, which doesn't make any sense because that's Hoover's letter, not his. So why is he taking what Hoover wrote and making a proclamation from it when it should be his proclamation based on what he wrote? But another issue, another point to be discussed at some other time by some other person. Presidential Proclamation 2039 gave everyone authorization to do something, to operate as banking institutions, not as financial institutions. They still left that up to the Federal Reserve to handle its financial institutions. But banking institutions, well, that was given to the people. Why? Because we're about to take y'all gold. The plan was to take the gold. So there must be value and consideration. In all agreements, there must be value and consideration. You cannot have one party giving up all of the dust and then you sitting up there taking the vacuum and the entire house. And so they had to give the people something. So what did they give them? We'll talk about it in just a second, and then you'll see it. Congress meets 3 days later, on the 9th. And I believe there might be a reason for everything happening 3 days apart, but ain't my problem. I believe there may be a reason for why they chose March 9th, but again, not my problem. What I do understand is that on March 9th, Congress came together and they had time to print that bill for at least both sides of the House, but they didn't print it for nobody. There was only one copy of the bill. But hold on. People don't pay attention. When it comes to Congress, when they write a bill, it has to be written by one of their members and sponsored by one of their members. This bill had neither author nor sponsor. It was just put on the speaker's desk. And that's it. There was complaints about it. They say, wait, we need a roll call. We need to document everybody that's here so that when this comes back and hits that fan, we want to make sure that y'all ain't going to get us caught up in nothing. And they refused. Ignored them. They gave them 40 minutes. They read the bill, and it took 40 minutes to pass this law. Now, in the law, in the congressional record, they talk about new money. And they said this new concept had never been tried before nationally by any government. Well, what's the new concept that was being tried for the first time by a government? It's spelled out in the act. Well, Congress... Hold on, I'll mention, then I'll give you an opportunity. What Congress did is they put in the act's wording that they were creating a new form of currency. They called it new money. The new money they were creating, and it's going to be difficult for people to understand because their minds can't wrap themselves around the concept of money. They keep thinking in the terms of legal tender because that's been the indoctrination. When they're referring to new money, they're not talking about legal tender in the form of Federal Reserve notes. They're talking about legal tender as far as the way the law prescribes it. And the law that prescribed this new money as legal tender was the March 9, 1933 Act. The very act that we're talking about. That's what said this junk is new money. What's the new money? Notes, drafts, bills of exchange, bankers' acceptances. How do we know? Because the congressional record says regarding this new money that not only is it the gold backing of the security. Wait. The new money is the gold? The new money is the gold. You see, the gold was replaced. with the new money. The new money is your promissory notes, your bills of exchange, your bankers' acceptances, your drafts. No judge, no court, no congressman, no president can come and argue that because their intent is in the act. They created new securities. They made all government contracts, i.e. government obligations, and all notes, drafts. Notes includes Federal Reserve notes, bills of exchange, bankers' acceptances, and trade acceptances. They made all of that stuff legal tender. Now, what you'll find is that people won't get it. They will say, how can that be legal tender? That's not gold and silver. This is not about gold and silver. This is not about gold and silver. Congress wasn't creating new money. What the president was doing was giving the people another option. What do you mean? It was called the New Deal. See, the old deal was, we're going to base everything on gold. Well, as I tell people, there's only so much gold in the world. Finite. It's not owned by the United States. Look at all the gold that places like India has. All the gold is not owned by the United States, so how could the United States sustain having all of its currency backed by gold only and quote-unquote silver? That's not sustainable. But the people wouldn't go for an amendment to the Constitution. So Congress didn't amend the Constitution. They just said, hey, we're going to make you guys an offer. And you can opt out if you want. Sorry, I was putting in a code into the computer, and I couldn't do that and talk at the same time. But we're going to give you guys an offer. You guys can reject this offer, but here's the problem. We get to regulate commerce. And so if you reject this offer, you will not be able to participate in commerce. Because Congress gets to regulate commerce. So if you want to participate in public commerce, you will follow these regulations. You don't have to. You can sit up there and opt out, and you can go and be on your own and do whatever you want to do. But if you want to participate in this, oh, no, you're going to accept what we're doing. And that was the problem. They gave the people no choice. They gave the people one option. They said to the people, this is all you have. This is the only thing you got going. We ain't doing nothing else for you. And the people, some of them balked. There were some lawsuits that were filed as a result, but nothing significant. And thus, we have the new law. That was March 9th. Nobody read the act. Just like the congressman didn't read the act. The act said that there was new money, and that the people get to use the new money, but because the government had to give the people something in exchange for the gold, it made it mandatory that their new money was receivable by all banks. So it was an acceptable form of currency, because that's what currency is, something that is used to exchange between one party and another. So that makes it receivable. And then they said it was redeemable. That makes it an obligation of the United States to redeem that item. And since the Federal Reserve operates as an agent for the Treasury, they must redeem the item. But people weren't getting the fact that it could only be for necessities. Now, it's been said, nobody gets to determine what your necessities are, but again, one person can't live in two houses at the same time. They could want two houses, but can't live in two houses at the same time. What most people don't understand is when you get married, husband and wife, well, your property becomes joint property. So technically you only get one house as a married couple, which is why in China, a lot of the husband and wives are separating. Same policies in China when they went over to the same system. That's why they became part of the World Trade Organization, because it's the same system of economics. That's why China's having the exact same problem with its currency that the United States and every other government has had with their currency. I don't know what the agreement was with China, but I do know in America there shouldn't be a single poor person out there. If you wanted to be rich, if you wanted to become a millionaire, then you go out there and you start a company within the system, and they would freely allow you to do that. If you wanted to be rich and you wanted to keep writing money orders and bills of exchange and drafts and bankers' acceptances, then you'd eventually be blocked from the system as abusing the system and violating the terms of the agreement. A lot of people are going to be asking, hey, how do I enforce this? How do I get... You have to follow the procedures for enforcing it. And there are procedures set out in the app. Now, here's the information that I'm going to give you, and then I'm going to get off of this because I have a meeting with somebody in 25 minutes. The act says one thing. The Congressional Act references the Federal Reserve Act. In that one paragraph where it talks about the amending of the Federal Reserve Act, it speaks as to Presidential Proclamation 2039. So you have three different instruments that are used together. So you must use them together the way they are written. Presidential Proclamation makes you a banking institution, which means that it says a banking institution is one that normally receives deposits and does any other form of banking business. Well, SATCOM receives deposits. SATCOM receives deposits, and upon receiving those deposits, SATCOM takes them, registers those deposits. Not with the SEC, but with the county. After they register their deposits, they deposit them with the Treasury, which is the next step. SATCOM will be issuing promissory notes based upon the redemption with the Treasury. Now, we will not sit up there and redeem anybody's promissory note. We will just issue what the law says we're supposed to issue. If they want to redeem that, they have to go through the steps and process, and there is a step and process. SATCOM is not going to tell people what the step and process is because they didn't pay for that. All they paid for us was for us to create the instrument, to start the process, to create the security. We've created the security. Everybody thought they were supposed to be getting a whole lot more. They're getting a whole lot more, but they want to get cake, pie, ice cream, then they want to have a 7-course meal, and then they want to have reservations for being able to show up anytime they want. And that's not the case. I never, ever, ever, ever promised anybody that. We promised people that they were going to get more than what they were bargaining for, more than what they were paying for. And they truly have. Even with the amount of tax credits that is being sent out to everybody, they're getting a whole lot more than ever was promised them. Why? Because we're going to do the best we can to keep my word. Alright, so you have three laws: Presidential Proclamation, the Banking Act, which is March 9, 1933, and the amendment to the Federal Reserve Act. And all it is putting those three together and using them together. Because that's what it says, reliance on this paragraph. Well, that paragraph refers to the Presidential Proclamation as March 6, 1933 proclamation. That's the only proclamation that was made on March 6, 1933. And then it references the amendment to the Federal Reserve Act, and that is in the Trading with the Enemy Act that references that. So when you use all three together, you get to accomplish what you need to. Remember, it's your money, receivable, redeemable. That's what Section 411 is, but you can't use Section 411 of the U.S. Code. Use Section 411 of the U.S. Code under Title 12, and you'll see that that doesn't agree with the statute at large, which means the code is inapplicable. The principles redeeming in lawful money, when they say that you have the right that such notes shall be redeemed in lawful money, people are not understanding. It's not talking about Federal Reserve notes. It's talking about Federal Reserve notes and promissory notes and all other notes. And it is my belief that once people start explaining this to the Treasury, that the Treasury will have no other choice. The Treasury refuses to go ahead and redeem these notes that are being used for personal use and for necessities. And a person documents the fact that this is my only home. Okay, then the Treasury doesn't do its job. That's when you go through the process of complaining and suing the Treasury through the United States Court of Claims. and you don't sue the Treasury, you sue the United States for reneging on the job, and you ask for the return of your gold, your portion of the gold. They're going to have a problem with that because they can't return anyone's portion of the gold because they don't have it anymore. Because they'll be in breach of the agreement. If they're in breach of the agreement, then that means that all these laws that they've created, all of these statutory provisions, these 470 plus laws, are inapplicable because everything is as a result of the agreement, the deal. Okay, go ahead and give me a couple of quick questions because that's the basics of everything that's going on.
Okay. And then regards to, I guess the next step.
No, hold on. I can barely hear you. You're too far from the microphone.
I have my Bluetooth on.
That's you need to go and turn that thing into a black and Bluetooth because apparently that thing is very badly damaged. Okay, go ahead.
It was just some headphones. I was gonna say, in terms of the next steps, do I need to have like a trust setup or any status correction or?
Well, this is what.
Since we're already thinking
Here's a technicality. Somebody's been doing videos telling people how to set up their non-interest bearing trust accounts. They gave them 98 series numbers, told them about putting together a declaration and a certificate of trust and going and open up a bank account. Told them, ask them for the instructions on how to do it. People have been doing it. Now that you have that, let it stay open for about a week, 2 weeks. Then ask the bank for how do I make deposits of promissory notes into this account. I had somebody ask the bank this and they told them that the deposit and the promissory note was unacceptable for them, that they do not accept those. That's when you get the bank because they don't have a choice. They must accept them. Why? Because the law says it. What law? March 9, 1933. They're receivable. They're receivable. They're receivable. They don't have a choice. So that's the process with that. But you're going to have to go back and listen to that last video because I did talk about this on that video. See, the problem is, as I mentioned, people don't stay to the end of the video. And if you don't stay to the end of the video, you're going to miss out on that stuff. And if you did miss it, if you did stay to the end of the video, it's on the redress portion of the... Okay. But if you did stay, you did listen, then... and you missed it, then that means you got to go back over it again. See, that video is an hour and 34 minutes long for a reason. Because this is not a game. You got people want to take shortcuts. They just want, get to the meat. No, I'm not getting to no meat. You're not paying me to do this. This is me doing this voluntarily. Oh, no, you're going to appreciate my time is the reason I gave the information throughout the video of an hour and 34 minutes.
Absolutely.
Okay, and there is a couple of people who listen. They're like, man, thank you. And just kept saying thank you. One person said thank you about 15 times. Because they realized when I told them that I have the piece, the final piece to the puzzle, and that the God that I serve, I don't care what people think of Jehovah's Witnesses. I already told them in the video what they can do, what they feel and think about Jehovah's Witnesses. But I do know that my God is the only God who has named himself. Go ahead and see if any other God has written a Bible and put their name in it. Everybody claim they read the same Bible and they see the name Jehovah, but they want to claim that's not his name. Well, his name is Yehovah. They do all kind of other things, talking about he's got 9,900 billion names, and he only says my name is Jehovah. He doesn't say my names with an S. I don't know what's wrong with people, but I did ask him to help me figure out the puzzle, but I didn't ask him last year. I didn't ask him 5 years ago. I asked him over 30 years ago. Because I knew there was a puzzle. I knew that the laws were set up, and that the laws were set up, and everything was scattered all over the place, because they were trying to make it like the Bible. You see, you can go to one scripture, but then there's another scripture that says the exact same thing.
Yeah.
California is set up that way. California has laws. There's one law for carrying a gun, but there's about 5 other laws for the same carrying a gun.
Yeah.
Because they want to get you from every angle. You cannot sit up here and think that, well, no, because that law says it has to be in this situation. But over here, this covers that situation. California made it a catch-22, so no matter what, they're going to get you with one part of the code. And that's why you have to challenge the stupid code. Because if you look at the original writing of the statute written by Congress, they didn't have all of those different provisions. Because remember, the original code was one statute. It wasn't all of those breakdowns where they added all this extra language. But nobody knows this. So I asked my God. And here he is, helping me to understand exactly what I just told you. One act, referring to 3 different provisions, and that's it. You don't need to jump all off into the UCC. This ain't got nothing to do with no stupid UCC. UCC wasn't even around. Somebody told me about birth certificates. What do you mean? That birth certificate provision wasn't even in existence at the time this started. Why are you bringing in birth certificates? The birth certificates ain't got nothing to do with this. Duh. Sorry. It's the, they call it the way of the world. I can refer to it as the ignorance of the world. Because it don't make no sense. People want to add so much other stuff because they allow the government to throw so much junk out there to where they don't know what to believe anymore.
And a lot of people operate in a state of confusion.
Well, I done been to the state of confusion. This place is so populated, I had to leave because there was just too many people. So I went to Solo. And Solo, it's a nice place to live.
I hear that.
Huh?
I said, I hear that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm with my solar system. It doesn't seem to be charging like I want it to charge. It's charging, but not like I want it. And I want to...
Get those lithium cells.
No. I have a lithium battery. The only problem is I have a very sturdy lithium battery. The issue was the company that I purchased the battery from, it's a very reputable company. This is all they do. But they told me the problem wasn't their battery. I told them it was. They said, no, it ain't. I said, okay. They said, it's your MPP charge controller. I said, my MPPT charge controller? I don't think so. They said, we're certain of it. I said, okay. And so had the MPPT charge controller checked out. It's working just fine. So I called them back. And so I'm just waiting for the morons of that organization to give me a call back so that we can take care of things. And with that being said, I just did some changes and now it's charging the way it should. So that's, well, see, my problem is I have to run certain things like my freezers and refrigerators. And this battery, I have 2 solar arrays, and this one is specifically for the refrigeration.
Okay.
So I have a deep freezer and a regular standard office freezer. And those things, let me make sure that I don't have anything. Yeah, I gotta unplug my, I have also the Elon Musk satellite. So they're all hooked up to the same system. Then I have another solar array that's for the fans and the computers and the lights and all of that junk.
Hey, you
All right.
busy.
No, because technically I should have just got the 1 unit. I just didn't feel like spending $2,000 for it. But if I got in the 1 unit, I could run everything off of one set of solar panels. I wouldn't have had to split them. They make the equipment that way so that when you don't spend $100 billion, then you have to go through what I'm going through now. And this is one of those things that companies like that and organizations and industries, I wish would just go. We don't need them
Yep.
because all they are greedy and trying to take advantage of people. We don't need them.
And then
Okay,
I go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was gonna say I had checked my voicemail. You said you were gonna redo your complaint and do like a class action
Yeah, we are going to
from
be
the
doing a
previous.
class action. Give me a
Okay.
second. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording so that because I spoke about it briefly on the last video, but okay, ladies and gentlemen, while that was going on, I was showing you all about the new money and how the new money works. Before I go and be chomping off at the lips, let's do this and make sure that y'all can see my voice moving and I can see it moving. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason for that call is to let you all know that this act has not been repealed. This act is still the act. Okay, what I did, let's see if we can do that Control C again. No, sorry, not Control C, Control F. Let me put my mouse back there and now Control F. And let's get to our money. Now, there's only a couple of sections where it talks about the new money. This is distribution of the new money. Well, distribution of the new money, well, look at that. It can be used to retire a part of the national debt and save a considerable sum in interest each year. Really? Is that what the new money could be used for? Well, hold on. Let's find out some other reasons and purposes of the new money. The last session of the bill provides for the issuance of a new money. I'm a little bit of a loss of the hurried nature in which to read the bill. I've had to read the bill to understand just how this new money is to be handled. What is the new money? Well, watch Mr. McFadden point out what the new money. Then the new circulation is to be Federal Reserve banknotes and not Federal Reserve notes. Is this true? Insofar as that section is concerned, yes. But what's the new money? It's not Federal Reserve banknotes. How do we know it's not Federal Reserve banknotes? Watch this. And so forth. Under the Federal Reserve Act, obligations that are deposited as the security and gold for the reserve notes are placed in the hands of the Federal Reserve agents. Now pay attention. I need you to find out about obligations upon deposit with the Treasury of the United States of all contract obligations of the United States and any notes and so forth, bills of exchange, bankers' acceptances, trades, drafts, and all that stuff. I would like to ask the chairman of the committee if this is a plan to change the fact that the gold was backing the Federal Reserve note through the Treasury, or is it that it was going to be through the Federal Reserve? I need to know who's it going to be backed by. Are you changing the backing of the money? Notice what he says. This provision is for the issuance of Federal Reserve banknotes, not for Federal Reserve notes. And the security backed of it is the obligations notes. So your notes, drafts, bills of exchange is security that backs the Federal Reserve banknotes and Federal Reserve notes. Okay? Pay attention. New money. I didn't say it. They said it. That's for your benefit. One more thing. Let's find out about the new money one more again. Besides, the bill does not provide for an unlimited expansion. It provides for a controlled expansion. Sorry, I gotta make this lighter because this is too dark. Hold on. I gotta do that right there. To me. Nope, too dark. So let's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we'll leave it there for now. No, I got a better idea. Whoa. Lighten you. Hey, I said different color. Come on now. Switch. Nope, it won't let me switch, y'all. Hold on 1 second. I think I know what to do. We're gonna try one more again. Nope, that didn't work. That did not work. We're gonna do that, and then we're gonna do that, and we're gonna see. Yeah, it's not gonna let me do it. Sorry, y'all. Thought I could make it a little bit light. I made it too dark, at least for my taste. Okay, but every dollar of this new money will be worth 100 cents. And if issued in sufficient amount, the result will be an immediate advance on the price of wheat, cotton, corn, land, and other commodities. It is the beginning of a new day, the turning point of economic affairs of the American people, if not the entire world. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're here to do. We're here to bring this information to your attention. We know how to utilize the information, and we're going to use that for the company. We're not going to put the total amount on video for you. Why? Because that's going to be proprietary that I'm reserving for the company. I will give bits and pieces because, like I said, there are people out there who they're waiting until I do the research. They're calling and asking questions of the company, emailing and texting and all of this other communication stuff, asking questions so that they can operate their business. I'm not doing this for them because they are definitely, look, these individuals are having success. They're able to get certain things done. You think they're bothering to tell me? You think they're bothering to assist me in helping you all? But they will come to this channel and watch. They'll go to the Eon channel and watch. And then they'll take what they can and move on. Well, I'm just going to let them move on because I don't care. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry it took me 4.5 days to put that video up. But now you get to hear the conversation. All right, take care, y'all.